Riley, I've been all over. Only Sage Steele has come out and really publicly on a big stage kind of supported you. I'm shocked, or maybe I'm not shocked. All these Sports Center anchors, these USA Today writers, Christine Brennan, they haven't said squat. Nobody's here from a feminist, from a woman's side of it. No one said nothing, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The feminists who you would think would say something, like Megan Rapinoe, who fought relentlessly for women's sports, who fought for equal pay and equal access and equal resources, and Billie Jean King, who was a trailblazer for Title IX and for women to have the opportunity to play at that level. I can tell you what they're saying. They're both actively now fighting for women to lose those opportunities. And exactly as you just mentioned, it doesn't make sense. The double standard, the hypocrisy of it all. I mean, Megan Rapinoe spent years whining about not having equal pay and fighting to get that. And now actively doing the exact opposite and hoping women lose out on chances and don't get to dream in the same way that she did. And I think it's worth noting that she's done playing. It doesn't affect her anymore, and she doesn't have a daughter to defend. So what this looks like to me is that she just wants to be seen as kind and inclusive because she has nothing to personally lose.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being kind and inclusive, but if you're going to stand up for women, then stand up for frickin' women, particularly a woman athlete who got, excuse my language, screwed out of a national championship by a dude and then goes to a college campus and gets frickin' hit by a dude in a dress. Think about that for just a frickin' second, and then kidnapped. I mean, if you're going to stand up, this is what you stand up for.
Absolutely. And I do think, just like you said, there's nothing wrong with being kind and inclusive. Everyone should aim to be kind and inclusive and accepting and welcoming and loving and all of the things. But in reality, it's not kind or inclusive to allow men into our spaces. This whole thing that just happened at San Francisco State is exactly my point in proving why we do need sex protected spaces. It's crucial. It's crucial for women. And it's funny that you mentioned feminists because I never considered myself a feminist. That's never something I thought I was because I believe in this sense of codependency between the sexes. I'm, of course, married, and my husband, we rely on each other for different things. But now I do call myself a feminist. I call myself a modern day feminist, which just means someone who's willing to acknowledge that women deserve respect and women deserve equal opportunities.
I want to go back. You actually changed your tweet, and I think you changed it for the better, right? I mean, you changed it basically saying that Megan Rapinoe will probably not have the opportunity. Sue Bird, same boat. I've said this, Riley. If I coached college basketball a long time, and women coaches, friends of mine, when I was a men's coach, they always had guys practice against the women in women's basketball. And the guys beat the women. If the UConn guys identified as a woman when Sue Bird was at UConn, you'd have never heard of Sue Bird. And she'd be fighting like crazy to make damn sure that didn't happen, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, she would. Same thing with Megan Rapinoe. Same thing with all 40 of these athletes who signed on to this petition fighting for male inclusion into women's sports. None of them would have had the opportunity to achieve what they achieved, to be in the same place that they are, without the women's sporting category, without Title IX. If Title IX is altered in a way that it no longer stops discrimination on the basis of sex, but now stops discrimination on the basis of gender identity, this is detrimental. It means that men could join sororities. It means that men would have access to every space, bathroom, locker room on campus for women. It would mean, of course, men could take both athletic and academic scholarships away from women. It would mean that men could live in dorm rooms with women and you could do nothing about it, or else you were guilty of committing sexual harassment. And I think these women, they don't understand what's at stake. They don't understand how this is. I think we like to look at the humanity piece from the opposition, the opposing side, how this affects trans individuals. But why aren't we looking at how this affects women? Why are we totally neglecting our feelings and our safety and our privacy and our dignity and our fairness? Why are we neglecting that all while prioritizing the minorities? It's just there's so much about this that is not adding up. But I truly believe eyes are beginning to be opened and tides will start to turn soon.
I agree, and that's why my wife, I think I told you this, is a softball All-American, legendary coach at Bowling Green, Syracuse. Daughter, my stepdaughter, plays third base for Harvard. So I know, and I listen to them. I listen to them, and they share your exact views. People always say this, and I want to run this by you. People always say, well, you got to have a solution. I said, okay, here's your solution. If you really got to be involved in this, if you're born a biological male, play with the men. If you're born a biological female, play with the females. That's it. Let's go.
Absolutely. It's a way that no one is banned. A lot of these state bills being passed, the opposition says that this is a bill that bans trans athletes from competing. No one is banned. No one believes anyone should be banned. I don't believe trans athletes should not be able to play sports. Of course, they should be able to play sports, but it's a matter of playing where is fair and where is safe. And so if that, of course, I think that means competing with your biological sex. But even in some sports, having a trans league, I don't know how realistic it really is in terms of setting this up, having people to play in it. But it's a way everyone can be embraced. Everyone can play safely. Everyone has opportunities for success. And so I just don't understand why there's so much opposition in regards to these solutions. It's all a matter of fairness. This is not anti-trans. It's pro-woman and pro-fairness.